Hello, everyone. Welcome to our peer-to-peer sessions. My email list is gold, part 1 with Alison Wells. My name is Hendrik Hernandez Resto. I am the creative specialist for New Bedford Creative. Thank you for joining us today. Before I go on any further, please enter your first and last name and your email in the chat for our records. This peer-to-peer series is geared to enrich, educate, and connect creatives within our community. New Bedford is the home of artists, creatives, change makers, designers, entrepreneurs, and community enthusiasts. The peer-to-peer sessions embraces the pulse that makes New Bedford so unique while also expanding our knowledge and connections. New Bedford Creative offers many opportunities for artists and cultural organizations. Join our creative directory, apply for one of our grants or call for arts, list your event on our calendar, all for free at our website, newbedfordcreative.org. Peer-to-peer sessions is supported in part by the City of New Bedford through its American Rescue Plan Award and Arts, Culture, and Tourism Fund, facilitated by New Bedford Creative at the New Bedford Economic Development Council. We would like to thank our mayor, John Mitchell, his administration, and the entire New Bedford City Council for their continued support of the creative sector. This is just one component of a broader initiative to boost arts-based economic development and help the creative sector recover from the pandemic. Before I introduce our presenter, I want to go over the format for this session. Once I'm done, I will pass it over to Alison. Once Alison is finished, we will open up for Q&A. I will review the questions in the chat first, and then we will continue with the Q&A live. We have about 20 minutes for questions, so we can wrap up by 2 p.m. Just so everyone is aware, this session will be recorded. Please feel free to put your questions in the chat so we don't miss them when we open up for Q&A. Most sessions throughout the series have been recorded and can be found on our YouTube page at New Bedford Creative in the following week. I would like to introduce our guest speaker, Alison Wells, who will teach you why keeping an email list is very important. Now, I'll pass it over to Alison to share more details of who she is, what she will present for us today. Go for it, Alison. I am muting myself now.
Okay. Right. Hello, everyone. Welcome, welcome. My name is Alison Wells. I am an artist, an art educator. I teach art. I've been teaching for over 24 years. I'm an artist for over 27 years, and I am the owner of Alison Wells Fine Arts Studio and Gallery in downtown New Bedford. And so today I'm going to talk about the importance of email marketing. It is such an important thing, and as time goes on, I realize how important it is. So I learned a little bit about it in the beginning, years ago, when I just started my business and had my studio, even before my gallery. I opened my gallery, and the things I've learned, it really does take your business to the next level. So I'm going to share my screen and begin. Okay, so everybody can see my screen? Yes. All right. So before I begin, I just would like to thank Margot and Hendrik and all of their team at New Bedford Creative for having me again. I love doing these sessions, and I can all nerd out and talk to you guys about business. Not everybody wants to hear it all the time. Certainly my husband is sick of hearing me talk about it. So these are perfect. There's people who come on, they want to talk about it, they want to hear about it. So today is going to be about my email list is gold, part 1, a beginner to intermediate guide, what you need to know about email marketing. Okay. Okay, so I'm going to break it down into 5 sections. Now, this is part 1 and part 2, because there's a bit, I don't want to put everything. I could put everything in one, but it's overwhelming sometimes if you have. I know that's how I learn, so I like to do it piece by piece. So I try to break it up like that. And so it's going to be the first part, what is email marketing? Then what is the importance of an email list? I'm going to go into email marketing platforms that you could use. Number 4, why your email list is more valuable than your social media following, because that can be controversial. People are like, what? Because now, social media is all that, but people are not realizing your email list is actually more valuable. But you can use your social media list with it. And then number 5, ways to grow your email list. So that's what we're going to be talking about.
Excuse me, can you see me? Hi, it's me, Euphemia.
Hello?
Hi,
Hello?
Euphemia, we can see you, yes.
Okay, thank you. Just to
No
know,
problem.
thank
No,
you.
you're in the session, honey. If you want to put yourself on mute, and then at the end, we'll open up for questions, okay?
Oh, okay, thank you. Sorry about that.
No problem, hon.
That's okay. Okay, so let me get this. Every time I'm clicking, it's not doing it. Okay. Okay, so what is email marketing? So when I was making this presentation, I didn't have this part. I put this part in at the end because I had a conversation with somebody, and they were saying they have a business, but they feel so bad because they're not on social media enough. They're not doing anything on social media, and they think they really have to start social media. So I was like, no, well, actually, yes, you should have a social media, but your email is really important. So try and put some of that focus into your email, getting your email list. And she didn't understand what I was talking about. And she said, well, no, it's so easier just to text my clients than send an email. It's longer. But so she was thinking of just the personal emails, a one-on-one, or, but it's not that. I'm like, no, email marketing. So then I'm realizing that sometimes people have that, confusion about, well, what we think of, we're sending emails to a group of people that follow us. But the email marketing is a specific platform where you can use it. It's a service that really helps you ramp up your business and communicate with your ideal customer. So email marketing is a digital marketing strategy that sends emails to a targeted group of people. Targeted group is your email list, your ideal customer, to promote products, services, content. And when I started off, I would have an email list, but it wasn't email marketing. It was my Hotmail. But I had a list of people who loved my artwork. And this is when I lived in Trinidad, before I moved here, before I went to UMass. And I would have art exhibitions, but that was my way of communicating with them, to invite them to shows, etc. And so that was my list. And then, so I tried to sell products through it, not online, but to get people to my shows. And then eventually they'll buy my work, or they would know what I'm doing, etc. But you can promote services and content as well. It is a powerful tool for businesses to connect with their audience, drive sales, build long-term customer relationships, because business is really about relationships, how you relate with your customers and how they relate to you. And at this point, I wanted to tell you, so when I started that, I just had that regular email. But then I went, and that's why these trainings are so important, because I want to talk about the first time I heard about email marketing, and it was connected with NBEDC, is a group, and we were discussing this before, called MSBDC, Mass Small Business Development Center Network, and they work with New Bedford Creative, New Bedford Economic Development in hosting trainings like this. And this was 12 years ago. It seemed like the other day. I didn't even have my gallery yet, but I had my studio upstairs in the same building. And I really wanted to get into, being professional with selling my art and exhibiting my work and stuff like that. And I remember going to one of these trainings. They would have trainings in person. Like now, since the pandemic, we're very savvy online, but we didn't do that before. So we would go to, they would have it hosted at different parts in downtown New Bedford. And I went to one, and it was about email marketing. And this was the first time I was hearing about it. And I learned so much. It was somebody from Constant Contact. So that's one of the platforms. But they really helped us in learning why it was important. And so I remember just taking down tons of notes and going back and signing up for email marketing. And I didn't look back. And it has been the best thing because you can really take your business to the next level. Okay, so it is a powerful tool for businesses to connect with their audience, drive sales, build long-term customer relationships. All right. Okay, so the importance of the email list. So it's direct communication. It allows you to reach your audience directly in their inbox, straight in there, delivering personalized messages, promoting products, and fostering relationships, as I said. So directly, it's very personal because it comes straight to your inbox. That's why people don't like spam, it's too personal. You're in my inbox. But if they like what you have, what you're offering, they will give you their email and would like to hear from you, okay? It's also cost effective. It is a marketing tactic. It is a marketing strategy. So compared to other forms of marketing, email marketing is relatively inexpensive. Now, these platforms, you have to pay, but many of them are free, especially it depends on how many email subscribers you have. So literally, it wasn't until last year I really started to pay when my email list grew. It just boosted. So many of them might give you up to 1,000 subscribers, 1,500 subscribers before you actually pay. So it's a win-win situation. It'll be really good for your business for you to start. So it's cost effective. Measurable results. I love this because if you just have your regular Hotmail, Gmail, and you're not on a platform, you can't tell how many people are opening your email. You cannot tell, what emails are doing better, what people like, what they want to hear. Maybe somebody might reply to you, but hardly ever. So you need to have those analytics. So email marketing platforms provide detailed analytics, allowing you to track open rates, click-through rates, conversions, and more. Conversions is like if people click on a link that you have a few links, how many people clicked on one link or the other? Like, wow, this link did really well. People were interested in this specific thing. And then you can see if those people bought something. So that's a conversion rate, how it converts to a sale or converts to a sign up or whatever it is, okay? So this data helps you understand what works and what doesn't work. And that is the key to that. It's measurable results. And then targeted and personalized content. You can segment your email list based on various criteria, okay? So for me, I'm a teacher. I teach in person at my gallery. I have a gallery, so I have events at the gallery. I sell my artwork. And I also teach, this is something new, I teach online courses and memberships and stuff. So not everybody on my email list will be interested in the same thing. Sometimes I do send a big group email, but other times I will target it. So these platforms allow you to segment. So I might have people who are my collectors and want to know when my next show is or what I'm working on. I have a segment for people who they don't want to buy my work, but they want to learn from me. So they come to my in-person workshops or they go to my online workshop. So you can then think in your business how you could segment, because not everybody is going to be the same interest and you might have more than one thing to offer. Okay, email marketing platforms. Now I put MailChimp in highlights because that's what I started with. And I had that literally up to last year. The reason because I pivoted my business in a way that I'm teaching online, because when you teach online, you have to have different platforms as well to host those things. So now they have some that can do email as well. There's so many things all together. But I would suggest MailChimp. I was so happy with MailChimp from the day one. It was free for me for many years as I was building my numbers, but they have other platforms as well. Constant Contact is very popular. I believe at the time with Constant Contact, you had to pay, but there are different tiers. And I don't know if they have a free option. At the time, for me, when I started email marketing, it didn't. But most of them have a free option. But I would say MailChimp. I don't know many of the others, but I do know of ConvertKit and Aweber. But you can do your research and find out which one. But MailChimp, for me, if you wanted to start easy, that's, free, affordable, and you can get results from that. So these platforms are designed specifically for managing email lists, creating campaigns, and tracking performance, how these emails are going, right? And when I say email, sometimes people would say my newsletter. So you can refer it as a newsletter, but it's emails that you're sending in a group, but they're personalized. So people feel like you're talking to them one-on-one. These are people who want to hear more from you. So it's a relationship you're creating. So you have to see it as that, because in the beginning, for me, you think it's just sell, sell, sell. This is what I'm doing. This is that, the link to buy, link to buy. But as time went on, I realized it really is communication. People want to hear from you. They want to see the process. Like I would just be like, well, I'm having a show here, or this is for sale. But I didn't realize people actually want to see behind the scenes when I'm in the studio, the different stages of a painting. They want to see when I'm teaching, things like that. So it becomes more personal. So they offer features for segmentation, automation, and compliance with data protection. Okay, why your email list is more valuable than your social media following. So some people might disagree with me. I feel so strongly about this. It is gold. It is valuable. And I will talk and talk and talk about it till people listen. Like when people are so upset with themselves for not being on social media more, I'm like, and they get frustrated. So sometimes they're not on it and they know they should be. And so they beat themselves up for not being on it. Then they finally say, okay, I'm going to do it. They put all this energy in, they make a reel or a post. They finally put themselves out there because it's not easy. And then crickets, nobody's liking it, or you get 5 likes, no comments. And I spent all this time on it. It could be heartbreaking. It just be like, oh my gosh, nobody likes me, nobody's listening. But the social media has so many things to it. The algorithms, there's so many factors. And it's very fleeting. It's very fleeting. It's not, when you get somebody on your email list, it's very different. They want to hear from you. Social media, that's it. It's social and it's in and out, okay? So while social media is a powerful tool for building brand awareness and engaging with a broad audience, an email list provides more direct, personalized, and reliable communication with higher engagement and conversion rates. And here's why. Okay, number 1, ownership and control. Guess what? You have full ownership and control over your email list. And you do not have any control over your social media followers. You have none. It is that platform that's in charge, okay? You can communicate directly with your email subscribers without relying on third-party platforms. This means you're not subject to algorithm changes, and we all know about the algorithm changes on, especially Instagram. Instagram is my main platform that I do for social media. I do Facebook and I do TikTok. It's slowing down a bit. So the algorithm can go in and out, changes, platform policies, or account suspensions that could affect your reach. People's account has been suspended for no reason. Like people are like, what did I do wrong? Or people are like, they're shadow banned, something. But I've had on TikTok some of my videos, like held or banned or under scrutiny or whatever for a certain amount of time. And it's like, what? It's art. I'm making art. You're seeing my hands. What is wrong with that? And then after they're like, oh, it was a mistake. But guess what? For 5 days, I couldn't post anything. And I can't do anything about it. It's like, oh, it was a mistake, or it wasn't anything, or it was a glitch or whatever, right? It is not yours. There were times when Facebook, you remember Facebook and Instagram shut down earlier this year and even last year, every year, a couple times. And people are going crazy. What's going on? You have an email list, you have nothing to worry about. You communicate with your target audience through there. Okay, so ownership and control, so important. Okay, number 2, higher engagement rates. Emails generally have higher engagement rates compared to social media posts. Subscribers are more likely to open, read, and act on your emails, leading to better interaction and conversion. With the social media, you notice how fleeting it is. You post something, and like in a day or so, you're not seeing it again. Long are the days. In the beginning with Facebook, you would get that if somebody likes or comments, it comes up again on your feed. No, it's lost. But your email is there. They can go back and read your email many times for information, links, etc. And the open rate is higher, you know. And then on social media, it's like we're scrolling. It's constant. More, entertain me, more. So it's just a swipe, swipe, swipe. So it's very easy to lose people, okay? Okay, number 3, better conversion rates. Email lists typically have higher conversion rates. Subscribers who have opted in to receive your emails are already interested in your content or offers, making them more likely to take action, okay? So you sometimes don't know on your social media who's really interested. They might be entertained by what you do, whatever. But so that's why it's important that you can use it to then bring them over to your email. That's what you want to do. And, it took me a long time because you get into the whole hype of social media. It feels good, it's exciting, but I was not making that link. I was growing my email, but I wasn't thinking that, oh, they can go side by side. I have to constantly think if I'm posting something, how could I get them to go in and click a link and get to my email or sign up for my email? That's where you want them. During the pandemic, a lot of us were online and social media was taking off. TikTok was taking off. There was a whole movement in that. And my TikTok account grew, even bigger than my Instagram, but it was very fickle in terms of, that was the time people would be entertained. Now, I did make sales from that. Like I sold a lot of prints and cards online, which I never did before. But people were in a whole different mindset, and they were also very much about supporting the arts, supporting small businesses, supporting small. But there were a lot of one-off sales, and these sales didn't translate onto like email lists. So if you're selling online, you can't automatically take their email. So I will talk about that later. You have to give them an option if they want to sign up. However, if they give you their email, then you have it. So sometimes these social media platforms can be fickle in that way. You could make some sales, but it's not always repeated. But if you can get them on your email, your newsletter, then they become like friends. They're nurturing them. You're telling them about what you have. You're relating to what they need, pain points that they may be interested in depending on your fields, etc. So better conversion rates. All right, number 4, direct and personalized communication. Email allows for direct personalized communication with your audience. You can tailor your messages based on subscriber data, making them more relevant and engaging to each individual. So when you're thinking of that, even though your email list is growing, it's like you're talking to them one-on-one, right? You're understanding who you're talking to. That's why it's interesting about the segments, the different groups. If I'm talking to my collectors, I know what to say to my collectors. I know what they want to hear, how they want to feel about certain things. To my students, I know their pain points, what they're interested in, the mixed media, what they want to learn from me, stuff like that. And I would talk in a certain way to them. So it's a nice way of personalizing it that you may not always get to do on social media. And remember, social media is quick. So your videos are just seconds, 15 seconds, and like you're getting a message across. Whereas your email, you can tell a story, you can communicate, you can educate, all of these things. Number 5, longevity and stability. email addresses are more stable and less likely to change compared to social media handles. We talked about that, the name, it's so fleeting. People often keep the same email addresses for many years, ensuring long-term access to your audience. Whereas social media platforms can lose popularity or change their policy, or people change their handle. So, you might lose who you're following because they're under another handle, etc. But emails seem, more stable. Just want to move that. Okay. Ways to collect emails. All right. So there are many different ways to collect emails. And this is interesting because you have to start thinking about that. Instead of putting all of that, there was a time I was putting so much energy in growing my social media, but I'm not linking my social media to my emails. So you have to think about ways of collecting your emails, and social media could definitely be a part as well, but there are many other ways. Okay, so first one, website sign up forms. So if you have a website, and these days, really easy to get websites online. You can do it yourself. You can keep it simple. Sometimes you can have a one-page one. So, all of these things sometimes can be overwhelming if we haven't started yet. You keep it simple, simple, simple. Place sign-up forms on your website. Make it easy for visitors to subscribe to your newsletter and pop-ups on your website. Now, it might seem difficult to you, and you may not reach a point where you will hire like a VA, virtual assistant, to do that for you. But there are all these trainings, as I'm telling you. And so like I did, you can call up New Bedford Creative, you can do one-on-one meetings, or maybe they can put you in contact with somebody, or maybe give you some information or point you to a site that could make it easy for you. There are places that'll help you do this. I had somebody years ago, 12 years ago, and I went to them and they helped me do this form on my website. And back then it was difficult, but now it's much easier. Before, like, she had to do code and all of that. Now it can link to your email platform. So the email platform can help you do it. So you can look into things like that. In-person networking. So you may not have a website, or you may not be ready to put your sign-up form on your website yet. Well, in person, even these New Bedford Creative trainings, networking, we have a lot of the networking events. You can network and you can get people's emails, or you can communicate for collaborations, stuff like that. You can collect emails at industry events, conferences, shows, use sign-up sheets, business cards. I used to think business cards were all, I always walk with my business cards. And there was a time I'm like, oh, I'm I'm not with it. People don't use business cards anymore, but people still do. Now they're putting the QR code on it because, nobody wants to set up business cards, or people will take a photo or whatever. So business card collections to capture attendee information. So if you're having an event, you can have a sign-up sheet. If you're going to an event or being part of it, like say like a festival, for some of you who might do art festivals, I did art festival and still do sometimes, not as much as before. But I remember going to an art festival before I started to do it, and I saw somebody with a sign-up sheet, and I'm like, wow, that's clever. And I also worked at a gallery before I opened my gallery, and they always had a sign-up sheet at the front of the gallery. And when I opened my gallery, that was the first thing. And you come into my gallery, you come in and there is a podium with a sign-up sheet. And if you want to, you don't have to sign up. And so that's the thing. You give people that permission. They decide, oh, I like what I see here. I like this person. I like this person's work. I'm going to sign up. I want to learn more about them. I want to learn more about their art or their teaching or whatever. And I remember going to a festival and I forgot. Oh, I thought of like, oh, that would be a great idea to have sign-up sheets, and I didn't have any. And so I just drew it up right there with a pen and a ruler and paper. And do what you have to do. You may not, now I have them printed out and I have the gallery, or if I do a festival, I have it printed out. But if you don't, draw it up. People will still sign up. That's a way of collecting, simple and easy. It does not always have to be, because, everybody's thinking they have to be perfect at everything. Start somewhere. Okay, so in-person networking, sign-up sheets. Social media, promote your email newsletter or special offers on your social media channels. Use Linktree and links in Instagram stories. Now, long ago, Instagram stories didn't have, well, not that long ago, didn't have direct links unless you were 10,000 or more. And I don't even have 10,000 followers on Instagram. So I couldn't put a link, but now they've changed it where you can put a link right on your stories. So that's very helpful. Also, I would suggest you put a link on your profile page. It's a call to action, calling somebody to do something. So you might say something like, oh, if you want to see more of my work, click here for my, website, or click, and on the website we'll have your email. Or you could just say, click here to join my newsletter, my email list for more tips and tricks on whatever, right? Last year I did one of these peer-to-peers. Yes, I did one of these peer-to-peers for Instagram. And so it'll probably still be online. And you can see that I talked about that, about putting a link. You should have some sort of link on that page. And whatever that link is should have something for them to fill in their email, okay? So that's another way of getting the emails on platforms. Also DMs, direct message automation. Now this is a little more advanced. You can look it up if you want, but don't let it confuse you. But there's something called ManyChat. And I'm just saying that because I literally learned about it last year. And so sometimes people don't, when you say, you do a post and you say, link in bio. So some people go back to your bio, but we are in this whole movement of swipe, swipe, swipe. So I'm in the swipe and your post made me stop. I stopped and I read it. And then they say link in bio, swipe. I may not go back. I might, but I may not. And you might notice there's some people that say, if you're interested in this, type the word whatever. So when I was talking about my membership was Grateful Palette, and I was like, if you're interested in learning more about it, type grateful or whatever. And people can type that and they will get an automatic DM. Okay, so that's another platform. It's not to confuse you, but that's also. But if you don't have that, that's totally fine. You can put your link in your stories. That's specifically for Instagram. But of course, these stories are shared, Instagram and Facebook, so they're both. But see which ones. If it is that you're doing festivals and you have a sign-up sheet, start with that. Okay, other ways to collect emails, contests and giveaways. Run contests or giveaways that require participants to enter their email addresses to join. Ensure the price is appealing to your target audience to attract relevant subscribers. So you should really start thinking, if you haven't already, of who your target audience is and what kind of things they would like. What would they like to get free? What kind of contest? And I remember when contests were popular a few years ago on social media, and I did that. But many times you would be asking people to follow you, to share, to share, to follow, to like, all of these things on the platform. Now you can take that and encourage people to sign up for your email. You want to take them off of social media. Social media is fine, but you need to find that link to get them over to your email, because your email list is gold and your email list is yours, nobody else's, right? Your followers on social media are not yours. Okay, events and webinars. So events, in-person events, as well as online. So you might have an event and you let people sign up for it. So I had a free event where I was doing art online and I let people sign up for it earlier this year. And so people gave me their email and then I gave them a link where they could join me live and do art with me, right? So it's like an exchange, and they don't mind sharing their email because they want to learn from me and they want to hear more. So you depend, whatever your business is, yoga, therapy, whatever, what it is, you can create something and they can give you their email. Lead magnets, very similar too. And I learned this literally 2 years ago. I kind of knew the concept, but not the name. And that's offering something valuable in exchange for the email address. Similar again to webinars and events, but those are usually live. Lead magnets could be anything that you can offer. So like an ebook, a PDF. I have a PDF, a free PDF for my art journals. I love art journals. I really got into it, gratitude art journals during the pandemic. It healed me. And I noticed from other people, it healed them too. And so we just started to grow and do that. So I came up with people be how to start an art journal. And so I did a free ebook. And with the ebook, you get the free ebook free, the PDF file, and they sign up with their email. So now I have their email and I can communicate with them. I could ask questions like, how was that PDF guide? What did you learn from it? Things like that. You can offer a discount code. So if you have a online site, you can offer a discount code. If you have an in-person place that you're selling product or whatever, a discount code for that. And any resource relevant to your audience. So you can see, what is it that I can provide? Something easy that you can provide. It could be a one-page list of ways to do something. You remember, you have information that people don't know. And you may think the information you have, it's not important, but there are always people who can learn from it. There are always people, and you're sharing it. So first of all, just think of it as sharing. And they're willing to give you their emails for that. And then they become part of your group, and you are communicating and nurturing them, because now it's a relationship. It's not just sell, sell, sell. That's the thing. Long ago, I always used to think, well, the email was only for when I was having a sale, when I was having a this, when come and do that, or I'm having a discount, or I thought it's not. It's about relationship. And as soon as I learned that, it was different. My emails grew, and my communication with my audience became different. It was healthier in terms that now it's a back and forth conversation. Okay. Remember to always comply with data protection regulations. Now, that's why it's so important to have these email platforms, because they help you to do that, okay? So obtain consent from individuals before adding them to your email list. Like long ago, I did not know this, and I would just be adding people's emails on my regular list before I did email marketing. And then I realized that was a no-no. Like I went to that training I told you about, and I realized, no, you can get in trouble for that. You cannot just see somebody's email or their email and not ask permission. So when you're on these platforms and you add somebody's email in, there's always something that said, does this person give you permission or whatever, and you have to tick off that box. So it should, like if you have a sheet, you had a sign-up sheet at a festival, all those, they wrote their email, they gave you their email willingly. So confidently you can type it in and you can check off that box. Okay, provide clear information on how this data will be used. So you always tell them, it's not going to be shared. You're going to learn things from me. I'm going to give you tips and tricks. I'm going to show you behind the scenes. I'm going to tell you when I have certain offers and stuff like that. And then offer easy ways to unsubscribe. Yes, you cannot hostage people into staying on your email. And you know what the truth is? You want the right people. So you want your target market. If they're not feeling you, they don't want, let them unsubscribe. And on these platforms, they do make it very easy. Right at the bottom, you can see unsubscribe and click. And sometimes if you are on different segments of it, you can unsubscribe for a specific segment, but still be part of the main newsletter. So maybe people from out of town on my list, some of them have unsubscribed from like my gallery stuff because they're not in the area, so they can't come to the events, the live events I come. Some people like to know about it still, but other people don't want those emails because it doesn't relate to them. But they still want the emails about online training, online teaching, or when I do my lives on YouTube or something. So they still want that, but they might unsubscribe from certain segments. Now, if they don't want any of your information, then they unsubscribe totally and allow them, make it easy for them, because you want to have the right people on your email list, not just numbers. Because we see on social media, it's all numbers, but a lot of it is fluff. A lot of it, they don't look at your page or even see your page coming up on the algorithm. So that's important. Also, if you're doing the free, that's fine. But as soon as you move over a certain level, and then you, let's say they allow you 1,000 subscribers free, but then you go over 1,000, you're now starting to pay. Now, they're different rates, so they're different ones, and you can pay larger as your list builds. So you're paying for these people to be on your list. You don't want to be paying for people who don't want to see your stuff or who are not opening. So sometimes you can go in and clean up your email. Like I can go in and see people who haven't opened in 4 years. I can take those off. You know, they may not unsubscribe. Other people might be like, okay, this is not for me, or, you know, unsubscribe. That's fine. So those are very important. Only add emails. People give you permission. The ones that are online, they're typing it in. That's fine. So keep that in mind. Okay, so that's basically it. And I just want to wrap up now. So if in case I gave you too much overload, things you can start doing today. Choose an email platform, and I would suggest heavily MailChimp. I've had it for many years, since 2012, and it worked lovely for me. And they have a lot of great features. Like even the platform I'm in now, I'm doing a platform because I am allowed to do other things online. So I'm just putting it all together. So it's not as expensive doing one platform here, there. And even that email, it's, you know, they don't give me as much freedom as MailChimp did, with different designs. For an artist, you get some really lovely ways of designing your page and designing different things. And it works well. And I believe the last I remember, they allowed you 1,500 email subscribers before you start to pay. And I only started to pay last year. So all those years, I had that. It was for free, and I was utilizing it very well. Okay. Why? A good platform will offer the tools you need for creating, sending, and analyzing your email campaigns. So it's really good. As I said, the analytics. So start today, sign up with MailChimp. If you have MailChimp already, or you have another platform that works for you, that's great. Now start to think about number 2, build and grow your email list. You're constantly building and growing that email list. If you are spinning your wheels about growing your social media and not getting anywhere, please focus on your email. I can't say this enough. Like I could just nerd out on this email list. Social media is fine, but I have eased off from social. I'm still on, but when I do, I'm really thinking about how I can get people interested over to my email, because email is where the magic happens. Email is where you really communicate with your audience. Email is where people will make the sales. And I've seen sales grow and interests grow through there. Okay. They want to know you more. They want to, you know, build a relationship. That's where it is. And you own it. You own your email list. Okay. So and the action is gather existing customer email addresses from your records. So you might, like me, have had your regular email, and now you signed up for MailChimp or any of those platforms, and then you can convert those over. I would like send a group email to those and be like, I'm moving over. Who is not interested in moving over or whatever? And if not, they will unsubscribe immediately, but let them know. But they know that they're getting emails from you, because I had a group of my collectors that I constantly send, and they were fine. They would respond. So I knew they wanted to be on the list, but I still gave them that heads up. And then when it's over there, any new ones must all consent, okay, to coming in. So add a sign up form to your website. and social media pages. Encourage visitors to subscribe by offering an incentive, such as a discount or a free resource. These are all things I gave you the list before. And why a targeted and permission-based email list is essential for effective email marketing. Okay, so those are the things you can do today. Get yourself on a marketing platform. And if you're already on one of those platforms, build it. You're constantly thinking of how you can grow. You're doing something, you do a sign-up form, okay? What can you give a list? Maybe you can do a PDF like what I did, maybe just one page. People might be interested in that and will give you your email. So offer something for free in exchange for your email. These people are interested in you and want to learn more, they will join your email, your newsletter, okay? Okay, and so that's it. I hope that wasn't too much. I felt that it was a good bite size. That's why I didn't want to do part 2 altogether. And part 2 will be July the 16th, same time, 1 p.m. And this, I know a lot of you are saying, okay, now we have the platform. Now I'm growing my list. What should go in my emails? Oh my goodness, what do I do? So that's a whole other thing. And that's interesting too. Thinking about what can you offer? It's all about what you are giving, not what you get. I think that was the problem with me. I would think, oh, I'm selling this, I'm selling that, is all me, me, me. What can I offer to my audience that will help them? And how would they want to work with me further? Okay. And also I'll be talking about how often to send emails, right? That's debatable, but everybody's business is different. So you can decide on when and how. But we'll talk about that, and also to develop a content plan on your emails. So that is it for my email list is gold. And I hope you think it's gold too, because I'm very passionate about that. And here I am, Alison Wells, in front of my gallery studio. And these are some links that you can find me or keep in touch. You see on the third line, sign up for my newsletter. So that's my newsletter there. I have an online store, my website, my YouTube channel, and Instagram, Facebook, TikTok. But my newsletter, my email list is gold. So that's it for today. Thank you, everybody, for being here.
Thank you, Allison. That was a fantastic presentation. I learned quite a bit. It's something that I'm actually very interested in for my own personal stuff. Is we're absorbing emails now, like we're collecting them, and exactly for that reason, because we consider them to be gold. So at this time, I'm going to open up for questions. We'll start with some questions in the chat, and then we'll move on to live questioning if people want to just jump right in. I did see one question in the chat. It didn't necessarily pertain to what it was you were talking about, but they did ask. It was Yasmin Ameli asked, I apologize if this was already addressed. Will these slides be emailed to us after the session, please? And thank you.
Well, I think that you can answer that. It will be
Yeah, I
up
mean,
on
yeah, you
YouTube,
send it to
right?
me, I'll send it to them, absolutely.
Okay, you send it to them. Okay.
Yes,
or they
absolutely.
just go to the YouTube.
Yes, there's also YouTube where this is being recorded and this is going to go on YouTube. So you can watch it over and over and over and over and over. But yes, Allison, if you're willing to share your slides with me, I
Oh,
can share
okay.
it with the registered.
So then I send them to you.
Send them to me, and
Right.
I'll send them over to everybody who's registered and would like them.
Yeah, I'm willing to share. Yeah.
Excellent. Outside of that, now we can open up, because I did not see anything else. Unless I missed it, please just let me know. But I did not see anything else. Please unmute yourselves. Try to one at a time. We'll see how many we can squeeze in. Go right ahead and ask Allison some questions. I'm sure everybody does.
Hi, Allison. I had a quick question.
Hi.
How frequently do you send stuff out?
Okay, so that's what I'm going to do in part 2, but I will, I will say, it all depends on you. For me, when I started 12 years ago and it was new to me, and I was working with somebody who was giving me some tips, and I was doing once a month, but she did say, you need to do like once a week. I'm like, what? Are you crazy? She's like, okay, baby steps. So you start once a month, but try to do it regularly and specifically on maybe the same day. Sometimes that doesn't always happen. I don't always send on the same day. So I'm working on that. So I have worked up to once a week. Sometimes if certain things are happening, I'm having a launch or I'm having a show at the gallery or whatever, it may not, always be. So it might be once every 2 weeks, but it has to, you can't just ghost your email subscribers, one here, 6 months down the line, another one, definitely not. But if you could try and really, I know it's a lot, but we'll talk a lot about that in part 2. But yes, it has to be some sort of consistency, but start small first. If you can do once a month, that's great.
Will you be in part 2 discussing what you put in your newsletters?
Yes, yes.
Excellent.
And then people can tweak and see what, how their audience and what their business is will be interesting. And there are different types of emails as well that you can send. And then, as I said, the importance with the platform, it allows you to segment. So you can segment it if you're just talking to one group of people. So when I'm having things that is specifically in New Bedford at my gallery, I can, some people like to know what's going on as well, but specific things or teaching, like if I'm teaching in my gallery specifically a certain day, other people are not interested because they can't get there if they're living in California or whatever. So I will and instead of like constantly sending emails and annoying them, so the segment is good. So I'm just sending that segment of people who are interested in doing in-person classes at my gallery in New Bedford. So that's people in that area, so in the demographics.
How do you know, Allison, like if someone goes to your website and they sign up for your newsletter, you're not, are there certain questions you're asking in the form so you know where, like, this person's in California or this person's a collector, or is it something you learn over the course of building relationships?
Yeah, it's something you learn after time. You can, sometimes on my website, I can see what you're interested in, and I can try and put you in those areas. The sign-up sheet in my gallery, I know that they come in the gallery and they sign up, so they're interested in my work. But also I would ask if they're interested in learning and lessons and stuff. But most of the people coming in the gallery are collectors or people interested in my artwork. So I would put them on the big email, but I also have the segment of, possible collectors. But as time goes by, you can see, and then sometimes you can send an email and you just, because I have so many together and I haven't all it's only after a while I started to learn how to segment. So I would send out an email with a link. Are you interested in this or that? You could, click on this one, and then I'll have a group of names that are interested in this alone, and I put them in that segment. So it's just something that goes along. It's always a little tricky because, to see what they're interested in, especially if you have different areas like me. Some people might just have one area and that could be good and just focus. But you can tell as time goes by. So if I'm promoting something and I'm going to be promoting, like, you have a launch or promotion, you might be promoting, sending something every 2 days, which is a lot, but it might only last for 5 days because you're in the middle of a launch. I will give a disclaimer at the top. If you no longer want to see promotions for this specific thing, click here. But you would not leave my newsletter. You just won't get that marketing for that, So like if I have a big my anniversary sale coming up at the gallery and it's specific to there, I have one that and people have clicked it because they're not there. They're not going to be, but they don't leave my email. And that's why the platform is so good, those email platforms, because then you're not like angering anybody. Because could you imagine if you're getting all of these emails for things you're not interested in? It's like, I'm just interested in learning from you, teaching, I'm not interested in I love your artwork, but I'm not interested in being a collector, or it might be the other way around. And then I know some people who have 2 sets of emails, like somebody who's an artist. I know someone who does art classes online. So she has email for that. And then she has a separate one for she teaches business. But that is way too much for me. And even for her, she's like, that's a lot. So that's why the segments work, that you don't have to do the full if you wanted to, but that the segments are easier because who has time to send all those emails?
I think the multiple emails work when you're receiving tons of emails from different places to kind of keep what you're looking at organized, because I have about 3.
You do? Oh,
Yeah.
nice.
I have
And
the
you're able to
the
keep
one
up with
that,
it?
yeah, oh, because it's all on Google. So Google will group all my inboxes together, but I can individually pick which one I want to look at from time to time. But yeah, I have one
Oh, right, on the Google. Yeah.
long-standing personal email. Then I have one that is strictly just music. And then I have one that is strictly for like organizational, between me and organizations when we want to discuss business at that level, right? Like it's
Right,
a
right.
professional, clean email that goes directly to my website. So it's not a
Okay.
Gmail. It's like resto@onesleepless.com. So, and that just looks better organizationally. But then when people are like, I'll be DJing and I'll ask for a music submission from local artists so I can DJ, I don't want them sending it to that email because that's like a very professional email. I just want to keep that like that.
Right,
So
yes.
send it to one of the other ones. And then there's a long-standing personal email that I've had for over 10 years that I just kind of can't get
I
away.
like that you said that because it's the same. So I have 2 different email names, but it's still one email. So it's still my one email, but I have different email addresses. So this is new since I've been doing online, and then having to deal with troubleshooting and digital stuff, because if I'm teaching digital art online, they have to click links, they have to do different things to see the work. I have an email that I give them, and that's admin@alisonwells.com. So when I get those, it's usually technical questions. I can't open this video, I can't, and then usually if I can't, like I have help, I have a VA that can help me do the tech side. Because face it, we cannot do everything, because if we do everything, we're not going to be good at anything. So, I cannot answer some of those tech questions. Why is this not opening? I know some of them, but that's why it's important to have a separate email. So the tech questions go to that email and it's not mixed up in the other emails. But just like what you said.
That way I also don't have to read them. I know what the techno, like what its basis is. If I get one at the resto email, I know it's business. Like that's a serious inquiry. It's not just gonna be one of my friends being like, hey, I got a new song, which does
Right,
get
yeah.
right, like it can get a little bit annoying after a while.
Yeah, that's why the email platform is important. So you can keep that separate.
Plus, it also looks cleaner, right? Like I don't want to do it at gmail.com when I'm speaking business to people. I want to give them my website address. But again, I don't want if my friends or like my cousin sending me an instrumental from California, that one, because it just gets messy.
Yeah.
I didn't know if email is too important. I learned a lot about email on this Zoom. For me, gonna help me. I'm gonna start to use my email more and more, because it's too important. Yeah. Thank you so much.
Oh, you're welcome. I'm so glad you enjoyed it, because I could talk all day. I could nerd out on it. Emails are important, everybody.
Yeah. Good job. Okay, thank you.
I will piggyback off what you said earlier, that social media goes down and then the panic sets in because you're like, how am I going to reach anybody? And it happened to me when I first started getting rolling in 2021. And I think Instagram or Facebook went down and I was in the middle of a fantastic month. And I was like, wow, this hurts. I need to get emails. I need to get emails. I need to get emails and I need to get emails. And I find there's importance to both, but there is a very personal connection when somebody gives you their email. It's like getting somebody's phone number almost.
Yeah.
That's very much so. It's personal. I know I don't give my email out to just anybody. So that's a bit. And I noticed that professionals and organizations are the same way. They don't just give out their emails to just anybody. So it's valuable. When you titled it, my email list is gold, I was like, she's not lying. It's a very
Yeah.
important thing. The social media goes down consistently, and you're right, the algorithm changes, but you send an email to somebody, it shows up at the top of their email every time. So
Yes. Yeah. And then they can choose to open it. If they don't choose to open it today, they can open it another day. Whereas social media, it's gone. Like, where was that post again? Gone.
any more questions from anyone? If not, going once, going twice, going thrice. All right. I want to thank you all for your time this afternoon. This was great, an amazing session. I'd like to also thank Alison Wells once again for their hard work. If you don't know, Alison has had several of these sessions with us here at Peer to Peer this year, and it's been a fantastic run of information and knowledge. Also, I would like to thank our funder, the City of New Bedford, for making this possible. Please be sure to visit our website, newbedfordcreative.org, and join our free creative directory. This is the list that we use to promote on our social media throughout the year. Make sure you add your events, galleries, exhibitions, and more to our calendar. And that page is linked to South Coast Today. We want our creatives to excel, and we are here to help. We have plenty of peer-to-peer sessions coming up. Please join us for our next session, monthly sales strategies, press kits, promotions, PSAs, and advertising with Paula Robinson-Deere. And that will be next week, a week from today, July 9th, from 1 p.m. to 2 p.m. We will put that in the chat for you to access. Lastly, the recording of today's session will be on our YouTube channel within the next week at New Bedford Creative. You can find us on YouTube by typing at New Bedford Creative. Have a great day, and thank you for your participation.